starting, and I was like, is it gonna start? We might have to go without YouTube right now. It did, finally. Took a second.
Oh, that's what that line is?
Yeah, yep. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have allergies really bad.
Me too.
Yesterday
Freeze blooming.
and today have been awful.
Sorry, you're going through this.
Yeah, thank you. It's only this time of year. So it should be good shortly.
From you know.
All right, we are on.
Okay, call to order, Rush Conservation Board meeting for May 8th, 2025.
All right. Chairman Watson,
Here,
Member Wolliver,
Here.
Member Hope,
Here.
and Member Kraus. Here.
we still get updates from the county on these planning board projects,
So
notes.
we actually have an agreement with Monroe County that we just pulled out again after some time. That there are quite a few of our projects that are exempt from going to Monroe County. Because you see them before the meetings,
Yeah.
like during that month. They normally, I would submit them to Monroe County the end of the previous month. And then they have 30 days to get us a response. And their response time was getting longer and longer to that 30 days.
Mm.
And I missed a couple of meetings because I just didn't get them in on time after our PRC meeting. And then, then they go through the regular, the boards. And so, this was my fault. And, but we found that we had a copy of this agreement. We do have to get it updated, but it does give a lot of our projects exemptions from submitting.
So it comes email to you and then.
Yeah, the Monroe County will let me know when the response
Yeah.
packet is ready. Yeah, yep.
And
So-
then you print it out and give it to the boards?
I usually give it to whichever board they, they have. And I also put them in the derivation table as well. So, but normally I get them like the week prior to either the planning board or the zoning, depending on which one, because now I have to make sure that I give them 30 days, prior to the meeting, just to make sure
Oh, from there.
I get them, so. But these 3 projects are actually excluded, so I don't have to send these back through Monroe County, which is good. It's not a really lengthy process, but it does take time. And by the time I get them submitted, I have to make sure that they get back to me before my meeting, so. Yeah.
Okay, I'll vote that we approve the minutes of the April meeting.
Okay,
I second it.
all right. Okay, Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Member Wolliver,
Aye.
Member Hoke,
Aye.
Member Gross.
Hi.
Next meeting will be June 12th, 2025. We have any problems with that? When is Father's Day, the next week?
Yes, I believe the following Sunday.
Yeah, it's late.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
The one after that.
Oh,
I don't know.
It might be the 15th or so.
Yeah, usually it's around then.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we're early this month.
Okay. We have to approve that or?
Nope. Nope, as long as it's.
Unless we're
it's good for everybody.
changing it, right?
Exactly, yep.
Okay, our first referring board is the planning board. Applicant's name is Jacobs and they, Marjorie says they have 2 lots up in Madeline's Way. And they were worried about the water district coming through and being
Where's
charged.
Madeline's Way?
It's on West Henrietta Road,
By.
just north of 5 Points.
Okay,
From the north,
Yeah, there's two subdivisions that go up in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But what they're doing is they're just taking the two lots and consolidating. it
there's
into one,
nothing
Oh.
that is.
Which is what you
changing.
want,
Right.
because
Uh,
if lots were so small.
Well, and
subdivided.
previously, when the water district was going through, you were going to have to pay so much for your other lot.
Yeah.
So I think that's what sparked this whole thing, and Dan thought the same thing, but I'm not really sure. They are just, but nothing's changing with their,
I think the
you know,
water is right there at
yeah, I'm not even
West
sure.
Henrietta Road. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, she came in and, wanted to just combine the two into one.
How far does the water go up 5 Points?
It goes as far as the Rotary Sunshine Camp. 5 Points.
But it goes farther north than that.
oh, that's south, north,
It's heading south,
Yeah,
Oh.
how far north on 5 Points does it go? Do we
the
know?
whole length.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, right to West Rush Road.
Oh.
And they extended it at one time to take it to the Sunshine Camp.
So I don't see any conservation issues.
No, that's what we want. Is largely law.
Yes. Yeah, nothing's really changing. They do have an easement on the property, if I remember right, but that, again, that's already, I guess, let's see here, yeah, 40-foot wide drainage easement to the town of Rush. I believe that's already, has been submitted prior to that lot. So I'm assuming that shouldn't be an issue.
I just want to see the water,
Okay.
thanks.
On their application, they left their statement of intent blank, but none
Yeah,
of this matters to us as a conservation.
right.
So it was probably purchased in 2 lots, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
they
believe
bought two
so.
separate lines.
So they were actually two different, like they, called
And
what,
the
lot
lot that
7
the
and,
house is on is only 35,000 square feet.
Yeah, they're both small.
yeah,
It's also kind of weird that for number 9 on the EAM, they checked no for whether it just would meet or exceed state energy code requirements. The lot line adjustments has nothing to do with that. but
energy, yeah.
They checked no. I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people
Is
fill this out and they have
what
no
is
idea
Does it
what
mean that
the
it's
stuff
natural
means. I
or
mean, I don't even know what this stuff means, and you have to
The
be an engineer
drainage.
to really
Yes.
understand a lot
Does
of
that
it.
mean they dug,
But
you
I
know, they
think, yeah,
scooped
for
it
just a
and
property
Why
owner, I
does it
think they're
say?
like,
It just says
What is
drainage
that?
easement. I'm
Right.
just
says
Well,
wide,
just-
wide drainage.
Must be the,
Yeah,
So would that be naturally occurring or would they have?
oh, no, that runs north and south.
because we have one.
That, was it naturally occurring or you did it?
No, it's natural occurring.
what, the easement?
No, the water,
Drainage.
the drainage.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Our neighbor next door tried to stop
Yeah, it
it.
says to the town of Rush.
And he broke up his driveway.
Oh,
He started chipping it away. He's like, you're not supposed to do that.
Is that a snail?
Well, right, so it would plug up at their side of the driveway. So it would go up and over the driveway and then back down the,
oh,
so. I think he's realized that he was not,
Well, they created a swale all the way down into Rush behind all of the houses, behind yours,
oh, yeah.
all the way down through there. There's a lot of water runs down through there.
Mm-hmm.
And then-
Behind.
This is the
Yeah.
front, I was talking about the front ditch
Oh, okay.
that water goes down through.
And it's all state there too.
Right, isn't that the same on this?
You're pretty high up though, aren't you?
This is,
Yeah, but I still get water.
Mm.
It still runs.
it's off of,
that's the town of Rush there, so it's probably a swale.
it's off of
down
a
through
state
there.
road, but.
Next one is the, and,
The temple.
The green lot.
we looked at that, right?
Yeah.
Green parking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, so this is, basically what they did was they just had to resubmit, each particular piece of the original project, because at the time, the planning board couldn't grant them their approval resolution on every piece of their original application. So because they had a time frame in mind, they were like, well, let's forget about the green parking and the trash receptacle that is, has code issues. And let's just go ahead and get the new ingress egress there, on the north side or the, I don't know, one of the sides. So
I think it was the
south
south side.
south side, yeah. So this, right now, they would like to put this green parking in, so it's those geotextiles that we talked about prior. They're pretty much okay where the code is concerned. So John gave Larry Heininger the information that it's fine for a use of for, you know, purposes of drive or you know, parking on it. And it does sustain a very large fire truck. So if there's
I
a
saw that
burning
fire
car,
thing, yeah.
yep, so if there's a you know, a fire with a vehicle. Or Audis and, you know,
Yeah.
Mercedes and all those types, so you don't
Mhm.
know, I mean, I don't know, it will.
Well, we're very, very much in favor of these.
Right.
Green, yeah,
geo
exactly.
waivers.
Yep,
Right.
so, yeah, they're extending a big portion of their parking lot, well, it's not parking, it's grass right now, so.
Right, I
they're
was gonna
extending-
say their parking lot is just too small.
Yeah.
These are 84 over parking spaces. That's
Yes.
quite a-
It's a lot, and they are potentially
So you
going to
got-
have a festival in July. I
Attention,
Well,
attention.
don't know if that's gonna be enough time, Larry, but okay,
Well,
so we'll see,
An
I
open
don't know.
house kind of deal?
I haven't gone
What's that?
by it
Will it be an
lately.
open house?
How far is
These
it?
No,
overflow,
most of
remember,
the
then it drops
festivals
right
are
off.
open to the public, so
Drops
a
off.
lot.
Yeah,
of
I haven't been
a
If
lot
you
of-
can
there.
about it, let us know.
Yeah, sure, of course.
One of their people got in trouble. They called Danny.
Huh?
They got held up at,
Before.
in Canada. You know how they have so many people come over
Yeah.
from Canada on the weekend? Yeah. they
So-
went- And he was like,
Yep.
what am I gonna do?
But
What, wants to get them across the border?
They have
But I said, she wants to see.
a ton
They don't have
of
a-
food, they have a large kitchen over there. So John and I went over one day, because I kept telling him, I'm like, take me to the temple, I want to see the temple, I want to see the temple. So, and then we went in
Wow.
without an appointment. KK Natarajan, he's
you
the,
have to cover your head. You
No,
can't wear
no.
shorts.
no, we didn't have to do any of that.
Okay.
In
I
fact,
wore a
had my
dress.
jeans on that
I-
day, but
I had a dress on when I went over, but it was
Okay.
a little bit more
yeah.
official.
Cause that was for the dinner, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, so, I mean, we just went in and they immediately took us around, showed us all the deities, like everything, like it was incredible. And I mean, they said anytime you come over, I mean, they're really very accommodating to just any person coming in off, you know, on a different
Across the street.
denomination of
Right.
religion, you know, so, but it was
I don't know.
really neat to see, and
Yeah.
What
they
is
gave
this
us
green
goodie
part?
bags when we left.
That's those
and,
tiles
they had
that
Like
fruit,
all
the
they
run-
had,
that's the-
textiles,
must be the pre-existing.
shawls, like
Is that this is the,
beautiful
this is the
silk
pre-existing,
shawls.
this
Okay.
parking here.
So this is gonna be those tiles.
Right.
But
permanent
very
tiles, and
awesome
maybe over
people, they
here.
really
Right.
are, so. But I wanna see the new temple, I can't wait.
I
to see
know.
That when that is open, I'll be like, come on, come in, knocking on the door. So it's amazing. It's an amazing place though, what they're doing.
And when you drive by it, I thought there is an entrance from East
Oh, that's for
River Road.
84 parking spaces.
Both of theirs.
Here,
They're,
No, the green.
they have green here, and then they have overflow.
Says install Presto Geo Block grass
Yeah.
pavers for 84 overflow parking spaces. So there's 84 spaces in that.
Yeah.
Even though it looks small.
There's
Well,
two different locations.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
is there?
there's- Yes, yep, so there
I thought it was
is,
just the one.
up by the current temple, there is
60.
all
This
of,
is our-
all of this
Well,
right
30
here.
and 31, 31 and 31.
Yep, so this is all of
Oh.
this is the existing temple up here.
Let me just
So
go,
these
Dave.
would all be the green parking, and then they have a bunch down
This here,
here.
the 31 and 31
overflow
is this,
As well.
so that's the 62 added to this.
Okay.
And
Now-
so I-
It says 58.
Near the new driveway. Right
They get a
here.
lot of people in there.
Who? They
So
do.
they,
I
yeah,
think
they're
this is
trying
really
to
gonna
keep,
cut down on
you
it
know, make
because of
sure
how they parked
everybody's
in the
off
grass.
road,
Yeah,
not parking on the road.
like
'cause
that
that's a-
today.
Right.
That was a big problem, so.
They parked
Right.
on the road?
Well, people had said that they parked on the road, so, a lot of people's concerns were, don't be parking on East River Road, and
Mm.
as far as I know, no, they can't, but it was a concern for people, so. So this will take that fear away.
Any questions?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, that's what we wanted, right?
Exactly. Very positive.
Yep.
That's what we wanted.
We could make positive comments, we have in the past. We can again say that it's so much healthier for the
Hi.
environment.
He made it.
Forests. Maybe, which.
Maybe Luther can tell us all about
What's the
that.
one who gave
He- I
us
think
the
he did
info
before,
on
but-
it?
Yeah.
The geotextile paving that Sravidia's gonna do. You're the expert. So we just went over that again, because they're coming back. They're gonna have a festival. How long does it take for them to prepare that? They have,
That's how good their guys are.
okay. So they're gonna have to work fast because they're having a festival in July, and this is coming before May's planning board.
They have time, but they have to order it,
Oh, okay,
things
so,
like that.
yeah. but the
How big is
installation,
it?
how many
100
spots?
spots?
84.
Yeah,
84.
84 spots. In 2 locations.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so they should be good.
So then how do they get the drainage out of that? By a lot of the rock underneath and then drain
Yeah,
tiles
they
under
put
the
a-
rock?
we put a foot of rock down. And then it has to be dead level per se. It can't be up and down. It's gotta be-
Yeah.
Cause these plates lock down and then you got metal clips that hold all these things together. And then you come in and they put a fine stone in that. A clean fine stone, like a 1A,
Yeah,
and then the water will, just go right down through that and then drain out. Depending on the soils and depending on, you can put it on a slope some degree. What the underground does, we did put a drainage system under the one at Morris Lumber. We gotta put down drains and,
Okay.
Are people doing this yet residential?
I can't say they are, I'm not saying they have.
you said it was kind of cost prohibitive or something, right?
It's right up there, it's probably,
Yeah, it's very expensive.
at about the same as paving. Because of the labor intensity to it. And it depends what the look is that you want. Do you wanna have a stone driveway look, or do you wanna have a paved driveway look?
Yeah.
The benefit is this, better that you're not having a lot of water runoff.
Mhm.
Runoff, yeah. How's what's the frost like? Does it affect it at all? Frost and.
Probably because you got so much rock underneath.
It's just, it can't go,
Yeah.
okay.
The only thing, if you snow plow, you gotta be very careful.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's not
Oh.
like blacktop would be scrape it right off.
And what about salt on it?
The what?
Salt on it.
No, I won't hurt it.
Mm.
No, you just salt the daylights out of it.
Okay.
Well, that's not good for
And it's
the
all metal
waterway.
grate. It's all metal
No.
grates, just like drain grates.
We should make sure we make a positive comment because it is porous.
I'd be able to
Write a
use-
positive comment.
What are we gonna say? It's good drain, we're,
Yes.
we're happy, I draw a little smiley face, we're happy with the drainage. Happy this won't cause any flooding.
That they chose.
Yeah,
this.
glad to see,
Yeah. There's a lot of positive
Eco.
environmental
you know, the
factors.
environmental ecosystem.
I just said that we're pleased to see that you're using an eco-friendly surface for parking. Okay,
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
good.
You have to make a resolution on that.
Yeah, we can.
I say that we make the comment, we're pleased to see the, you using an eco-friendly surface for parking.
I'll second it.
All right. Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Member Woolever,
Aye.
Member Hope,
I,
Member Gross.
Hi.
Right. And the next one you've seen prior, and Sue will have to abstain
Yes,
again.
Who knows about it?
yeah, I do. It's
Okay.
my nephew.
Yep. Yep, so this is the second time, Luke actually has gotten a not-for-profit
You want to see the
Um,
application?
for his club
Club.
to put in a pole barn on his piece of property on Rush Scottsville Road. So he is looking to, we were like, you know, what do you
And
like
it's
to do out
perfect.
there?
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was like, I love to take photography, you know, or do photography out there with the birds and, nature stuff. So he came up with nature trails and I'm just like, that's awesome. So he's looking to get a special permit for the club. And then he will come back to the planning board for a site plan with an engineer drawing. And he wants to put in a pole barn, so.
So will we see it again?
Yes.
yeah, because it's
yep,
gonna have
well,
to have plans for the
yes.
pole barn
This is
in
all
the,
preliminary on
Yeah.
where they're cutting in for the driveway.
The problem with it is that there is no primary dwelling. He wants
Correct,
right.
accessory building, which
Correct.
is not allowed.
That's why they have to have a club.
yes.
Is it a real club?
Yeah.
It is going to be,
It
yes.
It's in the
Yeah,
last one.
Yeah,
our town attorney told
Yeah.
him when he came before the planning board prior to this that,
Certified.
basically, you're gonna do these steps. You're going to go to the Department of State, you're gonna get yourself a not-for-profit. And then you're going to come up with your concept, you're going to, define what it is you're
I
doing.
saw it on.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Could I
so
look at that?
he's basically doing everything that other people have done for clubs and, he's hoping to get a pole barn out there.
So will it be open to the public? It's a nature trail.
Right
No.
now, it's only like
Kind of a private
4,
club, just like George Conboy's car club up there,
Yeah.
members.
yes,
So anyone.
Will he have members?
So it's it's a member only.
You know?
yeah.
it depends. I mean, you do have to go through the, the hoops of getting your not-for-profit. You have to show certain things as far as, I think, well, he did the club because it is a not-for-profit. He's not making any money off of it. So, but other people have been able to do this and just call it farm. It's farmland and I make 10 grand off of it a year or whatever. And he's not farming it. He's not doing anything out there. So it's just an alternative for,
Just wants to have it back. The one thing, it needs to be kind of limited, cause I noticed it's just parking for 4 cars. That's not a lot of.
Right, that's
parking.
why he figures it's,
Main
it's just a
Street.
small,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a small club.
Is
Yeah.
there an address, a number on West Scottsville Road, because it's not in the application?
He cannot get an address until he gets a site plan approved.
Oh,
Once that happens and he gets his, that's all done through the building department. Once he gets his building permit, John will call 911 and that's when an address is set up. And he's actually been trying to get an address out there and they won't give him one because there's nothing out there. There is a driveway. So the driveway is a circular driveway. And as I was explaining to Dave prior, when Luke purchased this property, basically there's a house that sits right on this corner. There was a circular driveway. These people subdivided off all of the land around their house. That's the land that Luke purchased. Luke didn't realize that he wasn't going to be able to put anything on this piece of property because there's no primary structure out there. And he's not going to live out there. But at the same time, he wants to be able to utilize that space. So this was kind of the next best thing to do. But he only has a portion of that driveway because it all used to be the one property. So it was subdivided and sold. So now he will have to get a full engineered drawing stamped, showing exact locations of everything, driveway of, where the building will go, the parking lot. So, and he knows that, we've been talking with him, he's gonna have to put some expense into it to get it to the next phase, so.
on the map, so there's no street address. and
this is
that's-
blurred to see what.
Yeah, 29, I think it was.
It's
Right there.
actually right like the back part of his property is right next to Glenna, the hemp place that was
Oh.
Jack Moore's greenhouses.
Oh,
So it's right there. I mean, his
On the
land,
east side of it, right?
yeah, yes,
Oh.
yeah, that's exact location, yeah.
So is this part of Moore's too, this?
Was
here?
part.
Was part,
So he will have that when he comes back for his plan.
so
like,
both is the hemp
application, he
farm
will
right
have
there,
it
in here.
fully
Yeah, must
drawn
be.
up,
Okay.
so.
Can't
In
think of
fact,
that.
he's-
There was a little old lady
he's,
there, who used to have
looking
the,
So he's
to,
on the west
hire
side
Larry
of the
Used to have a
Heininger.
fruit and
Larry
vegetable stand
came
in
out
there.
and said, you know what?
Yes,
He goes, I will help you.
And he
He
probably
said-
bought it from Moore's
Huh?
the one
think
from
so.
the
Temple.
because
Yeah.
So anyway. wants
maybe
to
the
go-
other cannabis place, they just wanted the greenhouses.
right, right.
And there's a cell tower in the back.
Right now.
But, and I know at this point, I really will stick up for him. Luke's in a wheelchair. There is no way in the world he'll ever live in this property.
Right.
I mean, he needs so much that they've already redone his house. They're not going to build another house
Right.
and have it so handicap accessible
Right.
when they already have one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, he
mean,
has an elevator there. He was telling me the last time I talked with him. I mean, he's
At his
a
house.
super
his
awesome.
bedroom's upstairs.
Yeah, he's super awesome kid. And he said, he was like, he goes, I can't use my elevator right now. It's very hard. He goes, my brother has to usually help carry me down the stairs right now because his elevator has been
Yeah.
needing a placement, a replacement part.
Mary Kay?
So, I mean, and he, like I said, yeah, he is,
Huh? Yeah,
And
he's just, he's kind of inspirational to me. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm partial, I guess, and that's an opinion, but I just think that his thoughts around it all were just like, oh, this would be really neat for him, to do. And just kind of, killing two birds with one stone, I guess,
Mhm.
in a way.
so
And he-
we'll see this plan again.
Yes,
um,
when it comes through
Any
planning board.
comments that we want to make now?
Previous comments too were in regards to the septic, or if he's
Yeah.
going to have a porta potty or, you know, that kind of thing. I don't think that'll come up until the planning board.
And I know at George Conboys, they don't have either.
They don't have it,
Okay.
and it's,
We don't have
It's
it at the Hunt
very-
Acres Nature Park either.
Yeah.
in the
I will
town
say,
center,
all of the
so-
information in this town on clubs is very vague. There's no full, real definition about what you need, what you have, so
Yeah.
I just went through other clubs, you
Yeah.
know, the information that from minutes of meetings, and I was like, okay, so Luke, this is probably what they're gonna, you know, like different things, because there's no set in stone. The code's very vague, so
the whole committee's been working on,
I know,
and I think a lot of this is gonna disappear.
yeah. There are some
A
people
lot
that
of
are
what's
for
gonna disappear.
the
Single buildings on
the
lots
club,
without
like the
houses on it.
club stuff, yeah,
Because we'll be here in 15 years and now somebody wants to build a house and now we've got a barn in the middle of the thing and it's in the wrong spot or
yeah,
who knows whatever.
yeah.
But there's quite a few of them and the whole committee has recommended that, basically just the only exception is gonna be ag. Real ag.
Mhm, yeah, yeah,
And,
farming, yeah, and you have to make what, 10,000, I think, a year at least?
Well, I
Yeah,
have to have so many acres and. yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I mean, he's got 30 acres out there, but, I mean, what would he farm?
on
you
the
know?
farmers, you can piggyback, you know, I've got 10 acres of farmland at mine, but that's all you used to really need.
Okay.
So then you just piggyback off of the farmer that's working the land.
Gotcha,
Right.
yeah,
I didn't think that Howard made $10,000 a year and I called up and was talking to his girlfriend Susie and I said, you know, what are we gonna do? And she goes, no, Howard went down and filed everything, so it was already here and I just had to send my application in,
That sounds.
you know, and it just cuts hay out of it.
yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know if this is appropriate, but I just think for someone that's handicapped, it gives him a real opportunity, you know, to live his best life.
Yeah.
Right?
How old is he?
Give me a minute. He's a year younger than Emily, so
He's
he's
not 40 yet.
36.
Is he really? Oh, I was pegging him 20s,
No,
but
Wow.
no, unfortunately, no.
no,
He's the same age as my son Tim.
That would mean you'd be 20 years younger.
That would be nice. But it's hard to say when I have a 27-year-old.
Adopted. Business. We have any old business from,
Well, there's that whole, I don't know if it's old business, but what Julia sent to us from Amber. Does that fall under old business?
Well, according to Julia, Amber said that the zoning board has not acted yet. Because it was a request for a variance. So that would be zoning.
Mhm.
And,
For where the trees are gonna be placed?
and
Mhm.
how tall the trees are. Yeah, I mean.
This
we
for
have-
Bruce's property.
this is for the existing one or the new one going up?
this
Where
is
the where they
Helios.
died.
Yeah,
This
where
is
they died. I
Helios.
went by there
Yeah.
today. to
It's,
see all the dead ones.
It's called Rush Solar Farm 1.
I don't
No.
know. I just looked through all that and I just thought, well, you know, zoning variance is one thing, but the bottom line is you gotta look at the soil type. And everyone has said it's too wet, right? Too wet for
Yeah.
conifers there. So, and the time of the year that they're planted is huge.
Yeah,
And they did not water, although we're saying it's too wet.
right.
When they planted, it was a dry. it was
Right,
dry,
it
And
changes,
they
yeah.
didn't water. it just.
Well, and it could be soil type. You can go on all these different
Yeah.
soil maps. The tree advisory committee could help with this too, or other people with expertise and see if that is good soil for conifers.
Well, it's always farmland for a million years.
Yeah, It was extensive, yeah, it was very extensive what they put together, the tree. Or the arborist, I'm assuming was what he was, but
Okay.
yeah. So they are coming back to the zoning board this, next Thursday. And, Lee Hedrick and, one of the other members of the zoning board went out and actually walked the perimeter, not inside, with Next Era, and can't think of, and with Nick Hufford, he's one of the upper guys that has, kind of, I don't know if they own it now, like, I don't know how, if they run it, I'm not really
Well, it
sure
changed
how it all
hands
works.
also, that
Yeah,
is another.
yeah, but it is still under Bruce Howlett's
They probably
business,
run it
so
for
they
him.
must run it. So, and they were also meeting Josh Landscaping out there as well. Now Josh was the company that planted the trees. They are native trees from Pennsylvania. This is just stuff that we learned at the zoning board meeting. But a lot of the problems are the soil type, the wetness, especially in the back corner, which I think they're kind of looking at, part of, the variance to be that they don't have to be in that back corner. Since there's, I guess it's kind of wooded back there too, I'm not fully sure, but,
They
but
were also planted at the wrong time.
exactly,
There was
exactly.
one area
Mhm, yeah.
All those trees died.
I
Yep.
don't know if I'd be going back to the same
know why.
landscaping company.
Well, because I believe they also have input as to, the size. That's why they came to the meeting. Their thinking, is kind of along with the arborist. I mean, the arborist said that you will have trees grow faster if they are smaller. So they take better, they actually root better, and they will transplant great. And what happens is their growth rate is much faster than even if you plant a 14-foot tree out there.
Yeah, but
It'll
they
be-
still have to do it right. They have to plant it at
Exactly.
the right time, they have to
And I
water.
think that's why they're involved now. I think that's why they're coming now, because they know that it was not done
But they're the
well.
ones that just do it.
I don't know. I just think that,
Maybe they have,
They-
maybe there's
they
some
might have
guarantee
to.
involved.
Right, maybe they're gonna give him some break on new.
There's a lot of trees there.
Yeah.
A lot of trees.
yes,
Julia came up with the idea that we can't enforce it, but the
Oh, a
town
bond.
could, a bond
Mhm.
could be posted.
Yeah.
So if this happens again, the trees die,
right,
I mean, it just,
yeah.
it's so unfortunate.
That's what the solar
So
committee
it's
is working on.
wasteful,
Mhm.
it's just wasteful.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the time
It
and
is,
money.
it's
that
sad,
they
it's sad to see, and I know personally, we've had issues with our trees, when we had an arborist come, and ours are Norway spruces, but we have very clay soil where we are, and it has a big growth of fungus, I guess, because it's clay. So we've spent a lot of money to have a tree doctor, he's a doctor, he comes out and, for the past 2 years, so I don't think we're doing it this year. See, but
Okay.
he actually got our trees looking way better, so whatever, they have to do all their impregnating the roots and all that stuff, so.
Well, that's the other thing, in that tree mortality report was so extensive, and
Yeah.
it said you have to undo the root ball.
Yeah,
Right.
Whether it's in burlap or
Mhm.
wire, they didn't even do that.
You have to plant at the right depth, that's really important.
yeah. There's a lot of different things, that is probably one of the widest, problems where tree planting is concerned, for bigger trees especially, is do you take the wire cage off? We think yes, you should take all of that off. How is that going to help the tree? But then the opposite to that is the caveat would be, oh, well, the cage is supposed to keep the tree anchored in the ground and the roots can grow around.
If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell.
Yeah. And that's heading wire too. the cage.
Like Norway spruces, they're going to be huge. Can they really fit through that cage? You know, you just, yeah, but that was the same issue.
If I
that we
was a
had.
tree, I wouldn't want my roots encased.
Want them in a wire cage, I know.
So
Anyway.
it does make me really wonder why the same people
Yes,
who violated all of those protocols
Yeah.
are going to come back and do it. I'm sorry, I know they may be listening, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not hiring them, so.
Yeah, I think it was part of the original agreement that they have to
so
supply.
is there anything we need to do to act on this?
You already did last month. I
Yeah.
mean, you did a resolution last month for it, so they will be coming back.
Well, I hope they look at soil type and drainage and wetness and pick the
root
right
ball.
trees.
They were really impressed too with the tree or the arborist's report. I mean,
They-
even,
They being, oh, Josh.
yeah, Josh Landscaping, yeah,
why
the,
don't they-
well, because one of the people that came, is just the buyer of the trees. He doesn't install them. There was, I think one of the guys might have been an installer. I'm not fully sure. He's more of the client, client management side of things. So I don't know. I mean, all I know is that the trees supposedly came from Pennsylvania, so they were pretty much native to the area, but
And what's the number of trees? How many trees?
That all in all, or that died?
No, all in all, there was like,
was it 500?
I knew it was in the hundreds because I think they had to search for them
190,
because
190, something, yeah.
No, I thought for some reason I thought it was 500.
I mean, you couldn't go to one nursery, you
had.
had to go all over.
Yeah, and that was the other problem. They couldn't find trees. That
I
were
think
14 foot
some might
height.
have been, I mean,
That,
some might have been native to this area, but
yeah,
I
yes, and
heard
maybe not
not,
all of
all.
them. Yeah,
that's just,
Yeah.
Okay,
Here's-
next order of business, EMC.
Okay, I can talk about it, but if I said it kind of late in the day, you can all see it in your email. The topic for the April EMC meeting was regenerative agriculture, and I don't personally see the point of my, reading to you what I said to you, is great. The biggest takeaway for me, especially right now, when we're all thinking of planting, is don't till, don't disturb the soil. The ecosystem beneath the ground is just as important as the one above the ground. Disturbing the soil, that's it, and we all have done it. I always would spade the garden completely and people rototill, whatever, but that's highly discouraged. So I did send you information on it. And, great meetings.
Yeah.
If we can get other people in.
Who was, I looked at that, but who led that discussion? Who presented?
The person, I forgot her name, but, very interesting, great presenter. She was born.
From Soil and Water or anything?
I think it was Cornell Cooperative Extension. I wish they would put these presentations on YouTube or something, because there's no way that I can, distill for all of you what a great presenter she was. And she started out actually with an apple, and she said, if this represents the earth, we're gonna talk about soil, what soil means to all of us. And first thing she did was cut off most of the apple because most of the earth is covered in water. And then what was left, not all good soil, like we have in Rush, she ended up with this little wedge. And that is what we all need to protect. The regenerative agriculture is not just protecting, sustaining, it's restoring, it's
Right.
finding all these ways to let the soil actually grow because it is such a
Right.
living organism. It was great. but
That's
I
why
can't
you,
present the way she does.
that's why you had the Dust Bowls, because they went out and started farming all that land that was prairie grass, and the grass, all the roots went
Right.
way down and held everything together.
I
Yeah.
just saw a display on that when I was down in Georgia. Yeah, absolutely. Those roots went so far down and they just took all of that away and then,
And that was a really big part of this. It's like maintain root growth continuously. So, yeah, a lot of people would do cover crops, buckwheat or anything, and either turn it under as green manure or harvest it, use it, but keep the roots intact. And this presenter said, even if it's weeds, just leave, that's all important. The weeds have roots. And it was just a great presentation. I wish there were a way we could at least have them available. Not everyone would be interested,
right.
but have them.
Well, most of
available.
those people that attend, they're not directly related in agriculture or farmers, and that's who you really want to get this information out.
A lot of farmers have been doing this.
Mm.
But
Not-
then
not
they
the
spray
tilling.
chemicals to kill everything off, so they can no till.
Um,
You know, you look around, you see a brown field now where it's brownish yellow, that's
they've
why.
sprayed.
Yeah, and that's. the
Well,
I was just thinking that, how do they get away without
Huh?
The
tilling?
crop is going in fairly soon, but winter time, I know like mice is all, they use a radish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Deer love it.
well, radish is good too because it aerates the soil so
breaks it up,
much.
breaks up
Yeah.
dense soil.
The deer at the same time are fertilized.
And the government gives them
Yeah, in my yard
that
too.
seed
Radish.
for the radishes, for
Interesting.
cover crop.
So now we take a break and then they don't resume until September, right, Pat? Yeah. The EMC.
After your
meetings.
picnic.
Did you want to go? Maybe Sue would like to go.
Uh,
I think he does.
Their main
They're
meeting
nice
is a
people. You meet
Oh,
conservation minded people.
You
from every
do.
town.
Yeah,
I used to do it a long time ago. I did it for quite a few years
did you?
and even gave talks.
although I do find a lot of the towns in Monroe County, they have very different needs and concerns than we do.
I just want to say one more thing about the EMC meeting. In the beginning, we go around and say who we are, what town we're from. So when I said who I am and they're from Rush, I said, and Rush is now a tree city. Everybody applauded.
Oh,
It was great, but I'm
nice.
sure it won't be in the minutes because I didn't present it. I just said it when I said my name. But it was really nice.
Yeah. Thank you for going.
Thank you for going over here.
The
Rush
next one,
Code Committee?
minutes, let's see if I can bring them up here. Now they're, looking at, they're not called mobile homes anymore. In 76, they changed the definition to manufactured homes. So, and that even includes like double wides or houses that come in a couple
Pieces.
different pieces put on,
Those can be, I didn't realize those can really be big.
right?
I saw one down at Cuca Lake that was 3 stories.
Wow.
They call them factory built.
It's
something.
huge.
But there's
No
modular.
basement.
Already wired, everything.
There's
Probably no basement,
manufactured,
just they
and
were-
there's modular
Modular, yeah.
too. I think the modular ones are the ones that come in halves, right? Like
Yeah.
in pieces,
No trailer frames. no-
right? And they're not on wheels. per se.
That's like
Right,
the
right.
Miller's house.
If this was on wheels, it'd be in the
Yeah.
lake.
There's one on Phelps Road as you go down the hill there past Max. I know I worked on one over on Schofield Road that, went up quick and all the wiring, they had a
Yeah.
channel for all the wiring. All they had to do was take some of the wiring over to the panel and the panel was already in there, flop that down, they had it tucked up into the rafters, flop that down and it made it ease.
Key homes, that's a big one that I hear and see a lot about.
My son lives in one up in Saratoga, it's a two-piece home manufactured in Canada, and he's got it on, what do you call it, precast concrete slabs, comes out of
Lima.
alignment there.
Yeah, there's, Kistner, no, not Kistner. Oh, it's the precast based on.
Right, right, that you set on stone, so he's got
Wow.
all of that, it's a nice house.
Yeah,
Doing that, you can probably put the house up about 2 weeks. Start to finish.
Wow, yeah.
Be living in it. So we had a meeting last Thursday and we're gonna have another one, the 22nd.
code committee.
Code committee and then abandon it for the summer till September again. So that's working in the third year. Next order is tree committee. What does the tree committee say about the solar stuff? Or they really don't?
Communicated to
Yeah.
that they would be a good resource and lend some expertise. Because I think sometimes we talk about things, but it doesn't make its way over there.
Yeah, I don't know even if they are meeting. I don't really fully know right
They
now
have been
what's-
meeting, they were working on, they were part of the big Arbor Day,
Oh, okay. Great.
celebration and planting the tree on the town campus, and I know they have something in the works for the fall festival. Just a fun way to engage people on trees, and then I told you guys last time too, that we just recently, Carol Ralph was really instrumental in getting back part of the 100 Acres Nature Park, dedicated community
Yeah,
for us, because you
course.
shared
Yeah.
that website. So I think that's about all that's going on, and I think they have a meeting next week.
Okay, yeah, I don't know who is the main communicator between the boards and the tree committee. I don't know if it's just Dan or, I don't know.
Rick Spencer's on it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know, though, if their expertise is needed with this whole tree
Yeah.
schmozzle.
I mean, that's what the resolution,
Sad.
asked, maybe that's something.
But
that
who
the
should
tree-
reach out to who?
That's the thing, I don't know. I'm not fully sure because I'm only for the subboards.
Right.
Not the committees, so, Yeah.
Beth, would you be comfortable, cause you know?
Yeah, I'll reach out to Carol, Ralph and Dave Cooch and just let them know, but I don't think it's up to them to initiate it. Someone needs to come to them,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
say,
I
"We
don't-
need your expertise."
yeah. I don't know as far as what's gonna happen with the
Yeah.
whole, the
So,
whole
yeah.
resolution there either, if there is, an approval or, I have no idea. So,
Okay. Next order, anything from Luther?
Whole committee's been doing a lot of work, we've been visiting the residential R20, R30. The manufactured homes. We had a workshop last Monday on it. Since got back, guys, they've done a lot of work. A lot of good work.
Scott spends a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
And he's also done, we have the new solar code ready to go to the workshop, but I'm holding back on that until we get this residential, because there's a lot to this that we're gonna get through first before we go to the solar. But the trees are addressed in that, and they are gonna be dropped back down to a 8-foot height or 7-foot height, something like that.
So you're working on residential guidelines for solar installation?
No.
Oh,
We touched on it only because the town doesn't necessarily regulate the home solar
Right.
to 1 and 2. But there's a lot that we learned that we felt that maybe we put a handbook together or something to hand out to people with solar farms, because I know out by me, there's a lot of wells. And there's a lot of solar panels out there for their own purposes, right? Well, if those things were to burn, and not that it happens often, but if they burn, they will put some unbelievable chemicals into your ground.
Oh,
All the PFAS is the last thing you gotta worry about.
really?
So, we wanna have people aware of that, because if the panels were to burn for whatever reason, they wanna get their wells checked, they wanna be checking them constantly, and you probably gonna wanna go and dig the dirt up and clean the area out. So it's more of, not that we're gonna restrict them, what we wanna try to inform them,
Warning, yeah.
make them aware of, hey, this is potentially what you got. Now, it might be there 100 years and never have a fire, the guy next to them might have a fire. May affect their well, so they gotta be, just know.
Hmm.
So we have a lot of that coming into the solar. Revised solar proposed law. And they say that's gotta go in front of the town board yet. And have a workshop and community meeting. But it does deal with a lot of the things that have slipped through the cracks. We're mirroring a lot of what Avon does, because our water levels and our water tables are very similar, and we match Avon and town lines. So they had a lot of good ideas. Scott did an awesome job. He went across the whole state and pulled different stuff together, and so I think in general, we've got a real good one put together that adapts ours to 2025.
You know, I just came across this big article today about aquifers and underground water, and there's cities in the United States, quite a few cities, Houston being about the worst, where the cities are sinking because they're extracting so
So
much
much water.
water
Yeah.
out of the aquifer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Palm Springs sits on a huge aquifer. They have it's hot, it's 97 there today. Palm Springs, I got a cousin that lives there. And they have a huge aquifer underneath. They have 110 golf courses there. So imagine the water that they use.
Well, then, you know what's happening too is people's,
No, you don't.
their walls are cracking, their doors don't align, like everything is just
City
sinking.
Houston is sinking 4 centimeters a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have any update? What's going on with the Dollar General?
I have not heard a word out of them, not a peep.
Maybe
Um,
not.
I have a little bit of information, so there was a miscommunication, with the town attorney and the zoning board, that the seeker review needed to happen before we could, approve or deny any variances. And, the representatives that are working, with the, seller on the property only had an extension until April 29th on that property. This is like already their last extension that they could do, I guess, out there. So, Victor, the main representative, they really wanted to know by that time frame if they were going to be able to get any variances, or if it was going to be resolved during the meeting. And as it was, the public hearing was closed. There was no lawyer review at the time. Present, there was no town attorney present. And somewhere in our code or in the law or seeker, I'm not really fully sure, but it basically came out that they had to do a seeker review with zoning board. They originally thought that they would just have to do it with planning board. Because they went to zoning first, it was kind of backwards. But they thought that if we get the zoning variances and we know we have that, then it's probably going to go through. I don't think they should assume that because that property is very wetland, but I don't know what their thinking fully was. So we did offer them to get a long EAF form to us. We would review it quickly. And possibly have an extra meeting if need be to make a decision by the end of the 62 days from the date that the application was, going forward. Or well, from I should say from the public hearing. And I reached out to them and I haven't heard anything. So I'm not sure if that's it. I'm not sure if they're going to come back for something else. Or if it's completely,
Dead in the
Dead
water.
in the water.
When would the 62 days have expired?
May 21st, I think, because they could have made it in, by the next zoning board meeting. But I haven't heard it.
So would we see this new EAF? Would we see it?
No, probably not if it was expedited. Because they really wanted to get it in, within the time frame. If we don't hear anything, hi, Mr. Wooler. If we don't hear anything and the 62 days runs out, it's as if they never applied. So right now, that's where it stands.
I would hope we would see a more extensive environmental review.
You would
they
see it if
require.
it came to the planning board.
Okay.
Because this time they would still have to do a seeker for planning board. That's not given up. They would have to do one for zoning and one for planning. But because we were all under the understanding that they did not have to do a seeker for zoning. It would be done, the lead agency would be the planning board. That is not how it has to happen. We have to do some sort of seeker review with zoning. And it just so happened that we thought it was, a closed, done deal. We would get them a resolution at the next meeting. But they needed a seeker.
Oh, it's 2 weeks from yesterday.
Well,
We shall
thank you.
see.
That you keep that chronological order down
do.
very well.
I mean, these projects are my life, what I do. They're my lifeline.
So what
I
did
have
you
a
do to your
lifeline
son?
here.
Carpal tunnel.
Oh,
And I still got 3 numb fingers and it's been swelling. We'll see next week. Rehab.
Or saying, oh, the one on East Henrietta, they closed, please go support them so they stay open. Why would we want one here? And people are saying, oh, so much comes from China, they're not gonna be able to get
Right.
it and sell it at a
At a
price.
low
you know,
price.
But we would end up most likely with an ugly, empty building.
Did a lot of work at TJ Maxx and every
It is-
box
it
that
is,
comes in there says. made in
Supposedly, it's
China.
not gonna be.
And there's ladies back there just unpacking these
Yeah.
boxes
Close to
Putting them
market, one of the
on
closest
hangers
markets than
and
anything.
bringing it out,
And
everything.
after
Did
that
you
new
hear
one
movies
opens up
were going
around
up
West Henrietta, I'm
80%?
kind of
Toys.
disappointed, because I thought
because so
that.
many of them come from
Yeah.
The
China.
name.
And you
that
know
is
what
to be
else
something
does? All
different.
kinds of baby furniture.
What, the Rush Market?
All made in China.
They told me-
Farmer's store.
Yeah, you
True.
can just.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Good
concerned
luck.
about.
So all in 1 week.
Marijuana,
At 40th wedding anniversary, my wife turned 70. We got a new little baby granddaughter, and my other son says that they're gonna have another boy. Oh, I'm on leave.
It was quite the week.
That's good. We need him to
And
support our
Easter.
social
But they've got a
security,
beer
right?
cave.
You know,
You
They
get
have a
married
beer-
the same year we did.
oh yeah,
Yes,
85? I got married in
Yeah.
nuts.
well,
That is
84.
true.
Shall we adjourn?
Move that we adjourn our conservation board meeting for May 8th, 2025.
I second it.
All right, Chairman Watson,
Right.
Member Williver,
Aye.
Member Hoke,
Aye.
and Member Kraus. All right.
So you're good on this. You don't need the second
No,
one?
I don't need that second.
What?
one. I can throw it out.
I'll use it for scrap paper.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your chair?
You know, today was Roden House's birthday.